Nasikia kupiga mtu ngumi, nasikia kupiga mtu ngumi, nasikia kupiga mtu ngumi, nasikia kupiga mtu ngumi. Olie olie tibe, olie tibe, anyole. Yeah. I love Fela Kuti a lot. I love Bob Marley. You know, Bob never won a Grammy, but would you say, are you gonna say Bob Marley is not a great artist? Fela Kuti never won a Grammy. Would you say Fela Kuti is not a great artist? And what? I've never ever had a white night stand. Lord of mercy. What did I put myself into? Actually, we need to occupy radios too and TV. Yeah, occupy radio and TV too.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to the Dialogue Duet, where we come in handy to bring you the most exciting interviews globally. So today, my duet here, I have a Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, poet, and producer. I don't know if you've heard about these guys, but he is one of Jabali Afrika, one Josek. I'll let him introduce himself. Hi, Josek.
Hey, Sylvie. Thank you for having me. My name is Josek Asikoye, a.k.a. Muzi Wananjero, known in this part of the world from the group, world-famous group, Jabali Afrika. I'm a founding member of the group, and I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, curator, and right now I'm also working and managing Kalamashaka, you know, the legendary hip-hop group. That's a little history of who I am. I'm a disruptor, so I'm in this part of the world to come back and try like align some things, and then try to also illuminate the East African side of the art space.
So, Asikoye, where are you from? Like, that name is kind of Nigerian?
Asikoye is a Luya name. So I'm from Bunyore, you know. Ebusikari, Angoa, Etole, Vande.
From Busia?
No, that's Bunyore is in Luanda.
Oh,
right
Luanda,
after Maseno. You know, we border with the Luos, you know. So we are the closest to the Mashemeji, you know. So I was not, my parents are from there. That's where I'm from originally. You know, when you're in Africa, even though we live in Nairobi, we come from somewhere. We don't say we're from Nairobi. Raised in Nairobi, but hey, the roots are way back in Bunyore.
Yeah. So can you, to start us off, can you just tell us a little bit about your music journey? How you ventured into music, how you came in, formed Jabali, and yeah.
Okay, my music started, as many people, started off in church. When I say church, my father is a minister. So my journey of music was, because my father was a minister, was a preacher, so we used to be the guys providing the music, you know. But after that, we ended up in school, as usual, in the learning institutions. And high school was where now I cultivated the sound that I wanted to create. Because in high school, as you know, the Kenya Music Festivals, the drama festivals, the usual shebang about entertainers, especially in this part of town. So in school, that's where basically I started shaping everything. With my homies, we had a percussion band, I was in choir, I was playing basketball, I was just doing the regular stuff that everybody does. You know how extracurricular activities is an excitement to kids, you know? So from school, I ended up performing, we ended up at the Kenya National Theatre. And how we ended up at the Kenya National Theatre, first, we were, there was an audition at the Kenya National Theatre. And before the audition, my homies who I was with in school that I used to perform with, they were picked up by a director Asiba to do a play at the Kenya National Theatre. The play was called The Enchanting Dance of the Jungle. It was a musical. So they wanted to get like guys who could do an African musical. So these guys, my homies from school, holler at me and tell me, yo, I went to a boys' school, Isli High School. That's where basically Isli High School shaped a lot of my music and my art journey, you know. When I talk about that institution, basically that institution, being on that institution, shaped a lot of us, the things that we're doing. We didn't know we were having a career, you know. So there's guys, it's easily used to excel in sports. Anything that you put Isli High School on, in the school or in the school championships and school competitions, they always excelled. So same as drama, same as music. So I was much involved with basketball and music, you know. So coming now to the National Theatre, the homies all at me say like, well, we have this dance, Enchanting Dance of the Jungle, and actually we need you to come and help us so we can bring back the unit that we had from high school. So when I landed at the National Theatre, we ended up being absorbed in the Kenya National Theatre dance troupe. From the Kenya National Theatre dance troupe, we got fired.
From the
Kenya National Theatre dance troupe.
Why?
Because we ended up appearing in the cover of the Nation magazine, the Nation newspaper, as performers of a different group. At that time, we were the most sought after dancers. If you wanted musicians, it's the same guys you will see. But this group, we used to be to freelance with different groups. So, but also being fired from the Kenya National Theatre had a lot to do with jealousies, because within the dance troupe we formed, what you see Jabali doing was we were doing it within the Kenya National Theatre dance troupe. But now the dance troupe was the dances and the music and all that. But with the Jabali thing was like, this is just the band, let's just do the music. So when we started doing the music, we started getting more bookings than the dance troupe, you know? So there was a little some jealousies, there were some jealousies, but they call it, what do you call it? The camel that broke the back, what do you call it? What's the saying? The thing that broke the camel's back. There's a saying like that. Whereby they had enough is enough was when we appeared in the Nation newspaper representing a different group. So when the manager of the National Theatre saw that, say, oh, Joseph Asikoe, Justa Asikoe, and this other dude, these guys, they're from the Kenya National Theatre, but it was like performing at Smith Hempstone's farewell party. Smith Hempstone was a very controversial ambassador in this country. You know, the days of Saba Saba, the original Saba Saba, leave alone this one, the original. So I know you guys are Gen Zs, so you know, you are not there when the original was happening. But when the original was happening, this ambassador was very controversial, because that's where the opposition MPs or the opposition leaders used to run, you know, for refuge when Moi was chasing them around, you know. So he had a farewell party, and we were the guys who were entertaining. So it appears in the newspaper, and then the manager of the National Theatre read newspaper, said like, oh, why would these guys be appearing on a newspaper as a different group? So when they appeared as a different group, was like, no, because our leader at that time said like, why are these guys saying these guys are from a different group, yet they're from, I know they perform in the National Theatre. Excuse me. So from that, the manager said, no, I just want people for the National Theatre. So they said, no, that's what we're telling you. These guys, they do their own things on the side. They don't even call themselves. So we told them, we are not being paid, you know. We are not on a salary, so we had to perform with different groups to make ends meet, you know. The same way this crew is not only for Sylvie, you know. This crew will move around with, you know, where the money is, they'll follow, right? Yeah. So we disagree, because she told us like, now you guys have to leave Jabali, and you have to leave what you're doing and just call yourself just in the National Theatre. And we said, at that time Jabali was still fresh. We said we wanted to make the kind of music we're playing, which was very different from any other group, you know. There's no group that was playing the music we're playing. And then our vision was to make music the way we were making it, not the way the National Theatre was traditional dance from Bukusu, the traditional dance. It was all traditional. We wanted to create music. We were young, wanted to create music like any other person. So we decided to because we wanted to create music, we said, I don't think the National Theatre gives us that template, because the template was, they're just preserving the Kenya traditional music and dance. So they told us, you have to choose. And they told us, you're fired. February 12, 1993, that's when we were fired from the Kenya National Theatre. And that same day, we formed Jabali Afrika. So that same afternoon, at the Kenya National Theatre, there was a big rock kind of. That's how we used to chill and vibe, So we decided to call ourselves. It was very symbolic. We decided to call ourselves Jabali. Jabali means rock, But now we said we just don't want to be just doing music for Kenya. We want to do African music, So we decided to add Africa, Jabali Africa, meaning that we are just representing the continent, And when you look at the rock is the foundation. When you want to build a house, where do you go? You have to go to the rock, So we decided let that rock be a foundation to build something that is authentically Kenyan and authentically African.
Nice, quite interesting. So you guys, this rock, this Jabali Afrika, you started out as 7 members.
Started as 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or 5 members.
Yes.
Okay, right now, you are not the way you used to be.
Yes.
So how has that affected you in terms of productivity and
I would say it hasn't. Actually, if you look at the whole situation, is music is a journey. Same as Destiny Child, same as the Commodores, same as the Wailers, So being in a band is not easy. But on the other hand, it's the vision is the same, and sometimes the guys who carry the vision, they keep moving, and sometimes they keep moving. Even if some of them might be moving in a different way, they might be moving not as Jabali, but they're still moving towards the vision that we had from day one. So started off as 5 members: Robert, Evans, Elolo, Victor. There was Justo Asikoe and me. Those are 5, right? And Robert Owino, So, and then we decided, when we started as 5, we said we need to add a few more people so we could have a whole flavor, So we added in Peter Mbole, who's the late Peter Mbole, RIP. And then we added in Stephen Wafula. He was a brother from Bungoma. And he was we used to play a stringed instrument called litungu. And then we had another brother by the name of I named them all, right? Peter, Robert, and Evans Jumba. Evans Jumba is still here. He's in Mombasa. So now we went, and then we had a manager, Bernard Kapima Siahi. So as guys, those days we used to work very professional. We had those setups. So we happened to be, now when the group was formed, when we started doing our gigs as Jabali, we didn't have nowhere to rehearse. We had to figure out a way to find our own instruments. The first instrument started with 7 drums, a flute, and a string, litungu. And from there started creating music, and then there was a talent search. There was a star search. It was called Malibu Star Search at Carnival. So we went to the Star Search. First of all, when we went to the Star Search, we went there backing up a hip hop group. I know people here in this town, you call yourself OGs and all that stuff, but the real OGs was a group called BMW. That was Master G and Uncle Dennis. When you talk about hip hop, they were being mentored by the Pressman Band. Do you know what Pressman Band? You guys even don't know what Pressman Band is. But you know their music. So the first track they were performing with was the Msenangu track, and they were rapping on top of that. So they went to the talent search and then they realized, okay, no, we need something more authentic. So they came to us because us guys were playing authentic music. So what was the first track we did with them? We did it with them, hip hop kienyeji. Hip hop kienyeji, hip hop. I was playing the chivoti, you know, the traditional flute and the drums, you know. Eventually I think the group dissolved, you know, they just disappeared. I think Master G is in the US, Uncle Dennis is in London, you know. So when we went to the talent, I said like, oh, there's a talent search here. We are also a group, you know. And the number one is winning how much money? 15K? So this is easy for us. And it was just 15 minutes. We go regrouped ourselves and came in as a Jabali Afrika. So from the first time we stepped on that stage, boom. We were on it. Like we just won every hit. First of all, we didn't have any funds. We came to that competition with no funds. And then the next time when we won the first round, by the time it was coming, the second round was coming, you know, because they televised it. They televised the show. And people like realized Jimmy Gathu was hosting a show in the morning, Club Kiboko or something. So he ran that show that we did at Carnival. So by the time us guys came for the next hit, when we announced our name, like there was a lot of fans in there. You know, those days Carnival was not accessible. We are brothers from Eastland. It used to be to cultivate our way to get to the other side of town was not easy, you know. So when we came in the second time, we had turned a lot of people towards our music. So we won the talent search. After we won the talent search, African Heritage came through. African Heritage used to be a gallery that the founder, Alan Donovan, the late Alan Donovan, started. It's a place whereby there was a lot. He used to work with models, used to work with singers, used to work with. There's so many, like basically the big names that you hear in this Kenyan music scene or the art scene or the modeling scene passed through Alan Donovan, including Iman. You know Iman the model? Yeah. Khadija Adams, you know. There was Catherine Carl, Emma To, you know. So Lois Mutua. There's a lot of, like I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys who went through Alan Donovan setup, the African Heritage setup, to get to the West or to get international stardom. That included also the original African Heritage Band. There was Ayu Bogada, the late. There was so many artists went through him. But anyway, he came to us and told us, yo, I want you guys to accompany me. I'm doing a tour of Europe, 30 cities of Europe. That was in 95. So we say, okay, we're down. You know, we were young, ready, you know, like we were blessed. We were getting all these opportunities at an age whereby, you know, whereby we were vibrant and just ready to explore, you know. So Alan, we agree, we sign a contract, we do 30 cities of Europe. We finish European tour and then we decide like we're going to America by ourselves. So we had an Alan Donovan tour, but we also had a US tour. So the US tour was coordinated by my late brother, who was the manager then, you know. So Lucas Ikoe. So he told us, yo, come to America. America is the biggest music market. That's why you need to compete. And we said like, okay, we are coming. And once we finished our tour of Europe, we got our 8-month visa and our gigs, you know, in the US. And once we finished the tour in Europe, we went directly from Frankfurt, because that was the last date. From Frankfurt, direct into New York. New York City, the American dream, you know?
American dream.
Yes. Which was not, at first, it wasn't the American dream. Nobody knew about us. Yes, we came from Kenya. We were like this hot group from Kenya. We went to Europe. We did our own stint in Europe. But that was not enough to say, like, we didn't have a record on the charts, you know? So what we decided to do is like we had to start from scratch. That was not easy for a lot of our people. Some of our people, they didn't have that resilience, you know, to go back on the drawing board and start from scratch. Some despaired, you know. Some fell off because of those kind of frustrations, you know. Some, when they found other opportunities, they decided like, let me follow this path and, not follow the other path that us guys were going on. But some of us who had the vision, we kept trotting. We kept trotting. And then we landed on a show, a TV show. Like, see, like there, Sylvie has her TV show, So you don't even know who's watching out there. So we ended up on a show, an Emmy, a multi-Emmy winning award show, We didn't know this guy was famous like that. We didn't know he was a guru, or not even a guru. He's more of like in the children's music space, in the children's entertainment space, family entertainment space. So we shot the show. It was called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. After that show went on air, America blew up. America went crazy. We were getting letters, bags and bags of letters. Oh, you guys, the rendition that you did on that show was awesome. Oh, it touched me. So basically, we had letters. We were reading letters, like mountains and mountains of letters. Those days, there was no Twitter, there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook. So the reaction are people had to write letters. Can you imagine? And people are writing you letters that much, So we, from that show, the agent that we work with up to now was watching the show with his daughter, So when I saw that, say like, oh, I want to book this guy. So he called us, say like, call the station. The producer called us, say like, there's a guy who wants to book you. And we told the guy, oh, you want to book us where? Oh, come on. I want to work with you guys. I want to make money for you guys. So 6 months even before we met face to face, the guy was booking, trying to show us that I can book shows. So our schedule was just being faxed. They used to fax our schedule. You're going to play here, you're going to play there, you're going to play there. So we go do our show. The money comes in through the accounts, So it was just before we met face to face. 6 months after that, we met face to face. We decided like, okay, you've shown us that you can work, and we signed a contract with them. So started working together. We went into the studio in 96, recorded Journey, the first album we recorded in the US. We had already recorded 2 albums before, Barasasa and Jabali Afrika. But now we combined some of the music from Barasasa and Jabali and formed one CD. So we did a big CD, 14-track CD. When we came here, the CD was like, as far as the song Aoko, when I came here, the guys, I came into Kenya and I opened the radio like this, I'm seeing people are playing, basically the DJs will play song 1 to 14, just let the whole album run, So from there, we started touring the US extensively. So it was a cycle that came in, year out. We'll do the college and universities in the winter, going through spring, we do the spring festivals, summer comes in, the summer festivals, fall comes in again, colleges and universities, boom, boom, boom. So the cycle was just boom. So every December we come back home and then it picks it back again. So we just went into the cycle, year in, year out, did our festivals, met our heroes. Some of them became heroes to our heroes, So that is our story. And then after many years of releasing a lot of music, we released a lot of albums after that. We did Journey, we did Remember the Past, Roots Ganza, Rebellion, Nakumbuka, our catalog. If you go to Spotify, the digital markets, you see all that stuff. So from that, we ended up doing, now it came again full circle. Remember, the family music space is what gave us our breakthrough from the show. No, and at that time, we were not doing a lot of music geared towards kids as such, but the rendition we did when we appeared on that show, on the kids show, was so awesome. Like when we would come to a town, when these kids, we did just Jabali Afrika is in town, we shut down all the daycares in town. So we come into the show, the auditorium, like daycare that day, they say like, those guys that sang that song, Tree Tree Tree, are in town. So Guys will close the daycares and bring all this. You come into a show like this, you see a whole auditorium is full. It's parents and kids, parents and kids, parents and kids. So eventually it came full circle. There was a time Mr. Rogers eventually died, you know. So there was some, they did even a Hollywood blockbuster that Tom Hanks played him, Will You Be My Neighbor, was Oscar nominated. And so now we decided, like, no, I think we should do something towards the family music space, because we kind of like realized our music was resonating very well too with the family music space. So we did some music, some songs, and got on a compilation album with 25 other great artists, and eventually we got our Grammy nomination. You know, so from the Grammy nomination, it's kind of like it came full circle, because we the family music space gave us a breakthrough in America, and then comes in again when us guys did an album, Hesabu Moja Mbili, you know. One of the songs from the album was put on this compilation that got nominated for a Grammy, you know. And then we did another one, Kings and Queens, same in the children's music space. And now we have another one right now as we speak. I just finished the album this week. I finished the album, but now I'm also doing the last tracking. I'm doing it tomorrow. I was supposed to do one today, but to see where we are, I'm doing an interview instead of me doing the music. Mm-hmm. See?
Which is still okay.
Yeah. So that's where we are. So now I'm back in the country. You know, we've been going back and forth, but now I'm back in the country to work, to disrupt the space a little bit, try to build an ecosystem that I'd like to work in. And there's so much talent in this country, you know, and I realize now is the time that you need to hold other people's hands while you're doing your thing. So in the course of doing that, I am recording with a lot of artists. I'm recording with a lot of artists. Also, I am here with a group of homies, Manifest Africa. They're from LA. So, and we just created an African brand, and to try and like tap into the ecosystem, instead of us taking our talent to the West, we bring the collaborations here. We don't have to move for us to get the collaborations, you know? I don't have to go to America to work with Rick Ross. I want Rick Ross to come and say like, yo, you guys are dope, I want to work with you. That's what I've been doing.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was quite a history there.
Yeah.
So before we dive into you in Kenya and how now you are now trying to keep up, about the Grammys, how did it feel to like be nominated as a Grammy, you know, Grammy producer, and also how has it impacted your career since then? Has it made you more famous? Has it made you more?
You see, what I can say is this: number one, first of all, okay, I know what the Grammys mean. I'm grateful that I could get on such situations, but on the other hand, we were not making music to get nominated or win Grammys, you know. And I always give people this example. Sometimes we do too much trying to get the award than actually doing what our purpose is in applying our craft, you know. So, and my motivation out of all this is always like, I love Fela Kuti a lot. I love Bob Marley, you know. Bob never won a Grammy, but would you say, are you gonna say Bob Marley is not a great artist? Fela Kuti never won a Grammy. Would you say Fela Kuti is not a great artist? And what did he stand for? Yeah, they were more impactful in what they did than the awarding and all that stuff. I'm not saying it's bad. It's good. It's good to walk the red carpet, you know, and look cute and all that, you know, get all these pictures, you know, and be in a room with a lot of creatives. To me, the thing I celebrate about the Grammys is more like just being around your peers and realizing like, oh, so there's nothing, like everybody's special in some way or another.
So you're in Kenya right now, and there are some artists in Kenya, from Kenya, that you have been working with?
Yes.
Planning to working with?
I've been working with Mbogi Genje, Trio Mio, you know. I've been working with Costa Ojuang, you know. Been working with Harry Ritchie. I'm working with Philip Isidia, you know. So I'm in every space, you know. So because me, I believe in an ecosystem whereby every music matters, from country, the same way the West, from country to jazz, pop, hip hop, all that matters. That's why I see I'm in all these spaces, you know. So there's a lot of artists I'm working with here. I'm working with some choir. There's some guys who I'm just grooming from scratch, you know, and just building them from scratch, you know. And I'm still in the global space where I'm still doing Jabali Afrika projects, you know. Yeah.
So what are some of the insights, like you've said, you've worked with the Kenyan artists, the international artists, so what are some of the insights that you feel like as Kenyan musicians they should improve in the music industry? Maybe the poetry?
There's a lot of gatekeeping in this industry. And that's the thing, one thing, like, I'm so passionate about crushing the gatekeeping, you know? And I know crushing the gatekeeping is elevating great art, you know? So we don't necessarily have to be on your radio, you know, to be heard, you know? So there's so many forms of disrupting the space. You've seen it. The Gen Zs just disrupted the whole political space, right? Who expected that? So that's what I'm saying, the greatness of this nation is the creativity that lies amongst these young and upcoming artists, you know? I'll be honest with you, the best music I've heard in this country is in hard drives in the studios when I walk into these studios, you know? Sometimes I say, like, why is this musician not in the news? Why is this musician not on radio, you know? I sometimes even think you're crazy, you know? But there's just specific sound, specific peculiar habit that just keeps coming on, you know? So those are things we need to change, you know? If you look at the West, the global space, there's every genre of music has its own audience and it's moving, you know? Here, even the radio stations, the way they're formatted for the 90s. They're formatted like we are forced to listen to somebody's preference, you know? Do you get my point? You do know, like, not that if you are a program on radio or on TV, you're supposed to go discover something, say, like, this is dope, is worth it to be on radio. Not that because I like this kind of, like, your playlist is what you're playing me. Yeah. You know, you don't have to think like you know. Even concerts that come here, you know, some concerts that come here is concerts that are honestly on the global scene, you know, they don't matter, but we are forced to live in people's eras. Somebody says, I'm a 90s baby and I'm the one who hosts this show, so all my show is all the music that comes here is music that I like, not the music that you guys like.
I work in radio, so it's like
you know? Yes, so, you know, change that stuff. You know, like, I'm just saying, there's so much, Sylvie. You know that. There's so much music in this country. I just gave you an example of what Gen Zs did. Right? Did you ever know, like, they just flipped everything, like, they made a lot of people irrelevant in this town. You know? And that's why I like working. I like giving every artist a chance. You know, I want, like, a way whereby, like, you excel based on your product, not based on who you know on radio, who you know. You know, back there's some guys even they like look at Ukoflani Mau Mau, look at Kala Mashaka. Let's speak the truth. They are the foundation sound, right? Right now, we are seeing revolution music all over. People actually are writing now revolution music. We don't need to write revolution. The revolution music was there. Was there already. Not that I'm trying to pour cold water on what is happening, but Kalamashaka did Nwakati. You know? Jabali Afrika did People's Voice. You know? Cost of living. You know, these are things that we did even before Ruto came into power. You know? Even before this government was in power. So you see, when I say when you're looking for conscious music, right now even radios, if they're really running with this whole situation that's going on, that's what it should be. Everybody's in the mode of revolution, right? Plug into that catalog, but they didn't have even that catalog. Now they have to make new songs. You saw everybody has a new song about Mandamano, right? Yeah. You know, it's cool to see them, they are awakening, but Ndugi Giduk already did remember to remember. Like I'm just saying, these things have been there, but we ignored that part of our history until the time like things like this are happening. You know, that's what I'm telling you. Don't. If these artists believed like they're not good artists, you know, their music will not be relevant up to today. You know, Giuliani is done that thing way back. You know, so I'm just saying Sarabi, all these groups that are. I'm just saying there's a conscious movement that was put on the side for a long time, and now when it makes sense for this music to be played on air, where do they run? Everybody's making a new song. We don't need to make a new song. Those songs are there. You know, there's a reason why we tune into Fela when it's time for revolution. There's a time that we tune into Bob Marley. Get up, stand up. Those are songs that were done even before us guys were born. No? So what that also tells you, actually we need to occupy radios too and TV. Yeah? Occupy radio and TV too. We need revolution music in there. You know?
How do you identify your potential collaborators? I know you mentioned that you work with every other artist, but I feel like you as a producer, you identify yourself with the kind of artist you want to work with.
Yes, I have this
both
thing.
Creatively and musically.
First of all, with me, when I do anything, now I'm talking about personally Jabali Afrika side, we always bring in the African element. That element has always worked for us. It has always given us an identity. We know how important an identity is in the music and the texture of everything. So that's something I always carry in anything I want to do, my approach to music. So to me, I would say there's a lot of talent in this country. There's a lot of talent in this country. Young people will surprise you. You know? Just give them a chance and you'll see what they'll do. You know? I have so many kids that bring me songs. Some songs, like when you hear the sound, how the sound is like, okay, how can you help? So I don't try to step on them, but I try to help them, even if I don't like the song, even if I think the song is not worth my time, I listen to that here, because sometimes the way you correspond with somebody who's coming, if you're up there and the way you respond to somebody who's upcoming really matters, because you never know. Up there is temporary. The one who's coming up here, there's so many coming up here, you know? So they'll meet you on your way down, and it will be a nice experience for you, you know? So I'll just encourage a lot. I see a lot of potential. We have that potential. First of all, we cannot say like, oh, Nigeria is popping better than us. East Africa was popping before. Canaan, his album Troubadour was all sampled from East Africa. So it's not, and it's not West Africa who gave us their first breakthrough. East Africa gave us our first global breakthrough. The things that Barabo is doing, a lot of Davido and them are doing, Canaan already did that, you know? So, in other words, East Africa, wake up.
So as we are getting to the last bit of this conversation, you as, let's talk about the ongoing protests right now.
Okay.
You as, how have you used your platform, you know, like to create awareness on this Mandamano thing? And also maybe you can highlight just some of the, okay, let's just go with that question first.
Yeah. So with the Mandamano, first of all, it's enshrined in the Constitution. So the young people, it's a right. We have a right to picket, you know, and express our disgust if we don't like what the government is doing, you know. So that's something that we don't have to have an excuse for that. But also, there's a lot of, like I'm talking about from the creative community. There's so much, some people don't, you know, it's like mean what you say what you mean, you know? You know, it's very easy to see some of them are just, you show up at the maandamano, ujipake watope kidogo, uonekane, unajua? But you know, so that's what I'm telling you, right? Like the things in the creative space, artists, that music has always been there. We don't need to create new music. I understand when they're creating new music, if they mean, you know, I don't want to step on any artist's hustle. But my point is, like, that music has been there before. So, and also, when I look at the Maandamano, I'm proud of these kids. I'll say I'm proud of these kids, you know. I'm proud of these kids because, to be honest with you, they changed this country and the globe forever, you know. So, it's a situation whereby, look, like, they've made things go different, you know. I was giving up on activism in this country, you know. We were getting immune, and then we were getting used to bad governance or bad services when we know we are paying taxes, you know. So the awareness that I've seen amongst the Gen Zs, you know, and how they've tackled this situation is something, it has gone in history and globally. To be honest with you, those 2 weeks is a game changer. I think they'll go into history as maybe one of the greatest moments. It was like mobile, you know, like when they say it, a Mandela moment, you know. First of all, they say they're leaderless. Yeah, but they're converging all of a sudden, like they're converging, you see, boom, 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 people are there, you know. So there's no particular, like, it's a whole generation that just rose, you know. And what makes me proud is, like, it's not only one or two that you say, like, that's their leader. No, they came in as a generation. They came in together. They didn't care about their tribe. They didn't care about their class. They didn't care about where they come from. That's the beauty of everything. And that's what we've been agitating for many years. You know, if you look at our political mathematics, it's always tribal. When you look at our it's either tribal or classism, you know, or sexism. You get my point? And actually, the most fierce warriors I saw on the front line were women and young girls, which was something to admire. You get my point? So I'm just saying, they flipped the coin and just changed the whole narrative. So I take out my hat to them, but also I just hope, like, let's work it towards a better Kenya, you know, because Kenya is a great country. Number one, I'll tell you that for a fact. And God loves this country. When I tell you God loves this country, for us to come from that kind of situation, you know, and see change, we see things moving, you know, it means a lot. And now we are inspiring countries, not only from Africa, but globally. It's a global movement, you know. This one is for the books. Yeah.
You have such an amazing career. Can you just highlight one of your proudest moments? Achievement?
My proudest achievement?
Yeah. That you can say you are very, very proud to achieve.
First of all, to be alive and to be making music. Okay. That's something I love making music. But I say everything has its own, every situation. We've had so many good and bad situations, you know. We've had so many triumphs, you know, and through even the triumphs, sometimes even there's some tragedies, you know. But I will say I cannot actually measure any situation and say this is better than the other one. Every situation that I've gone through, whether negative or positive, has played a role in creating something, you know, creating an impact in my life. And also, the moment I'm making something, I know I made it because of this was happening. So if you ask me about a song, what is this song about? I'll tell you, this is a song about this and that and the other. Like a song like Aoko, which is one of the most beloved songs in this country. Voted one of the best love songs, and, you know, and as I look at it, I say, like, oh, guys even don't know what Aoko means. To me, Aoko is the name of my mother, you know? It's my mother's middle name, you know? And when I made Aoko, I was describing my mother, you know? When I say, like, ufikiri hapo Aoko, sili wala sisiki, sura yangu ya tabasamu, roho nayo haidundi, Mwenye mwanya mudo, my mom had a mwanya. So I was actually making fun of my mom, but it was more like showing love to my mother, you know? Like the woman I'd like to have has to be like my mother, you know? So it was more like, and then all of a sudden it resonated with people a different way. People see it as a love song, but to me it was a son's love to his mother. Yeah.
You seem you don't have goals. Do you have goals? Do you have something that you
I
want
have
to
goals.
achieve?
To achieve?
Or already, you know, and riding. And maybe in summary, you can just tell us what you expect yourself to do.
My goal is to elevate other musicians and just try to elevate the musicians that I'm working with or creators that I'm working with. That's my goal. That's my dream right now. I'm saying, you know, I want like probably, if I'm gonna get to the next Grammy, it has to be me and a lot of other people from where I come from. Yeah.
So we're going to the last part of this interview. It's somehow like a casual game thing. It's never ever ever. I'm just gonna ask you 5 questions of never ever ever as we close up.
Never ever ever.
Yeah,
I'm
never,
getting
ever,
scared
ever.
now. I'm not throw myself in under
ready?
the bus because Gen Z will rise and come say, occupy, salimia.
Okay, here we go. Never have I ever faked sick from work.
I have.
You have.
Yes.
Never have I ever cheated on a partner.
I've never cheated on a partner.
For real?
Yes, I've never. I have.
You have?
Yes.
It's good to be integrity.
Honest, integrity, yes.
Yeah.
Have you?
No, it's you. You in my interview.
You see, it's a rebound, you know? What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
You have to create your own interview when you ask me the same question.
You see how you not run away from it?
Never have I ever smoked a joint.
I've never smoked a joint, never drank in my whole life, you know? Yeah, I'm pure like that. I'm pure. Mweupe kama pamba.
Okay. Never have I ever had a one-night stand.
I've never ever had a one night stand. Lord of mercy. What did I put myself into?
Integrity. Okay, we have like some.
Have you?
My interview. Okay, 2 more. Never have I ever lied on my resume.
I've never lied on my resume. No, because the good thing about what I do is you cannot like hide, because they know if you've been, it's music. So have you done this? Take. Have you done this? Never done this? Take. Have you done Reggae on the River? Yes, I've done it, you know. So I've never lied on my resume.
Never have I ever marched in a protest.
I've marched in so many protests. Just because you don't see me in this front line of the Gen Z thing, go back to my history, you know, go back to Jabali Afrika's history. I'm somebody who marched at the Black Lives Matter protest. Jabali Afrika was at the Million Man March when 1 million men assembled in Washington, D.C. When Louis Farrakhan called them, we were there, you know. I marched when Trump, you know, was when Trump was defeated, you know. I marched with when Obama won the first black president. I was in those streets, you know. But the Black Lives Matter was one significant protest that I'm proud of being part of, because when I look at this Gen Z thing, it reminds me of the Black Lives Matter. Because I was sitting in the house and I saw my daughter was in the streets. They were actually, police were all over there to tear gas and all that stuff. I said, no, I can't be sitting in the house and I'm seeing my Gen Z, my daughter is in the front line. I have to go out, you know. So protests, I'm a professional protester. I'm just letting you guys know. It just happens to be, you know. I did not participate in these ones because, you know, I am. But I'm just trying to let you guys know that I am a professional protester. I am not only. I don't call myself an artist. I call myself an activist. You know. So I know how to be in a protest very, and but also the way protests are run in this country, sometimes the police go overboard, and sometimes they create situations that are not comfortable, In America, at least, we know when the protests are happening, we can sue a police officer. You shoot somebody, you're charged with murder, So I hope we get to that level, which I think we had, because I remember the first Gen Z protest was nobody was harmed. It was peaceful until this other one came in, So I've been in a protest, Mama.
Nice. Yeah. Last but not least, never have I ever overdrafted my bank account.
Many times.
Okay, so you have.
Yes, I have. It's many times. That's it's not put on stone. Those situations are not permanent, Even these guys that you see out there, when you are real with yourself, yes, you gotta be real. But when you start faking some things, hey, people overdraft their accounts. They've been broke, everybody has been in those situations. Money comes, money goes. But the best thing you can have, don't let it stress you too much. Your relationship with people matters more.
Nice. This was such an exciting interview, and I want to thank you for being here. So, kwanza leo, when unatufungia show, maybe you can do some.
What should I do?
Gira.
Hey.
Play some gira, and that's your voice that you've been.
What should I do? Let me see if I can play something.
Okay.
Olieti be, olieti be, olieti be, anyore, anyore, etore, mwami etore. Etore, mwami etore, etore, mwami etore, anyore, anyore. Mtu amenikatisia, mtu amenishukishia. Mtu amenishukishia. Nasikia kupiga mtu ngumi, nasikia kupiga mtu ngumi, nasikia kupiga mtu ngumi, nasikia kupiga mtu ngumi.